SSMRV College, one of the premier institutions run by prestigious RV group of institutions, has come up with a unique initiative to engage students at the time of this unforeseen medical emergency caused by corona outbreak. As a socially responsible institution, we would like to connect academically with students to make good the losses caused. In this connection, I, Shalini, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, SSMRV College, has posted a video on the subject business regulation and the related topics. Please watch the video about Environment Protection Act, like, share with your peer groups and subscribe to our YouTube channel. To begin with, we should know what is environmental protection and why is it important for us to protect our environment. Environmental protection is the practice of protecting the natural environment by individuals, organizations, and the governments. Its objectives are to conserve natural resources and the existing natural environment, and also, where possible, to repair damage and reverse trends. The World Health Organization has observed that over 70% of all human ailments are influenced by environmental deterioration. The industries are the major sources of hazardous emissions and effluents. Since environment pollution has become a major threat to human survival and development, the environmental law has emerged as one of the most important tools for promoting and developing the environment quality. To begin with, we will now understand the definition and meaning of environment. By definition, environment mainly consists of atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. But it can be roughly divided into two types, such as microenvironment and macroenvironment. It can also be divided into two other types, such as physical and biotic environment. By meaning, the environment is everything that surrounds you, including air, land, oceans, and the living things. For our convenience, the natural environment can be classified into two divisions. One, the physical environment, and two, the biological environment. Physical environment includes non-living things such as land, air, and water, as you have understood under the meaning. Biological environment includes all life forms, living things, including the plants, animals, and other living organisms. Moving on, let us understand what is environmental law. Environmental law is the collection of laws, regulations, agreements, and common law that governs how humans and business houses interact with their environment. The very purpose of environmental law is to protect the environment and create rules for how people and business organizations can use natural resources. Environmental laws not only aim to protect the environment from harm, but they also determine who can use the natural resources and on what terms and conditions. Laws may regulate pollution, the use of natural resources, forest protection, mineral harvesting, and animal and fish populations. Next, we will understand the objectives of environmental law. There are two types of objectives, general objectives and specific objectives. Under general objectives, the purpose of environmental law is to protect and preserve the environment. Protecting and also preserving the environment. There are two main subjects of environmental law under general objectives, which are control of pollution and the conservation and management of land. Both these sections of environmental law protect land, air, water and soil. About specific objectives related to environmental law, to implement the decisions made at the UN Conference on the Human Environment, to prevent hazards, harm to human beings, other living creatures, plants and property. Thirdly, to enact general law on environment protection. Then to coordinate all those activities of the regulatory agencies which are done in promoting and protecting the quality of the environment, and creation of authorities or authority for environmental protection. The next objective, to provide for deterrent punishment to those who endanger human environment, safety and health. That means if any manufacturer or a business house or any individual who is involved in transportation, for example, if they are transporting a hazardous substance which is harmful to the nature or which can be polluting the environment, or if any business house is involved in packaging the pollutant substance, or if they are storing the hazardous product, or if they are offering it for sale to others, or if they are transferring it in any other form. So basically, if the business house or if any individual in the country is involved in any of such activities which involve hazardous products, hazardous goods, substance which can prove pollutant to the environment, are considered as handlers under the definition handling. Now next is occupier. The Act defines occupier in relation to any factory or premises or to a person. Now it can be understood as a factory or a premises or an individual business person. Now by meaning a person who has control over the affairs of the factory or the premises is called as the occupier basically. Further, it provides that in relation to any substance, if it includes the person in possession of the substance which is hazardous, if found under the control of a person who is involved in handling the hazardous substance, they are known as occupiers. The Act divides the powers of the central government under 4 headings as shown on your slide. The first important power related to the prime powers, important powers. Second, power to appoint officers. Third, power to give directions and guidelines. And fourth, power to make rules. Now, under primary powers, the central government undertakes coordination of actions by the state governments, officers and other authorities related to the activities assigned to them for environment protection. Under this Act, the rules, regulations are made thereunder by the central government, and under any other law for the time being is enforced. Along with that, there will be planning and execution of a nationwide programs for the prevention, control and abatement of environmental pollution. Now, if you have, or as you know, there are Environment Day or Water Day, the International Water Day or the International Environment Day celebrated to create awareness among the general public about environment protection. So, such nationwide programs are planned, executed by the central government in association with the state governments, the other officers and authorities. Now, along with this, laying down standards for the quality of environment in its various aspects is the next prime power. And then collecting and disseminating information. Disseminating is circulating information relating to environment pollution is the power of the central government. Now, moving on to the next primary power. The central government lay down standards for emission or discharge of environmental pollutants from business sources, from different industries, from households and so on. The next power is to restrict the areas in which any industry operations or processes or class of industries, operations or processes shall not be carried out or shall be carried out subject to certain safeguards. That means government has the power to decide in which area there must be industry located or the areas in which industries should not be permitted to operate. So such power is in the hands of the central government. The next one, laying down procedures and safeguards for the prevention of accidents which may cause environmental pollution and the remedial measures for such accidents. Now, whatever the precautionary measures taken, there are uncertainties which might happen like accidents. Now, in case of accidents, what are the procedures to be followed or the preventions to be taken, preventional measures to be taken, or if it is already happened, then how to approach the authorities in solving such problem. So basically, laying down procedures and safeguards for the prevention of accidents, also the remedial measures for such accidents will be decided by the central government. Now, laying down procedures and safeguards for handling the hazardous substance. Under definitions, you understood what is a hazardous substance. Now, while handling hazardous substance, how to handle such chemicals or such harmful substances should be known by the business houses. So, the central government gives guidelines in handling such hazardous substances or the procedure and safety measures for handling such hazardous substances. And then examining the manufacturing processes, materials and substances which are likely to cause environment pollution. Now, if the government finds any of the manufacturing process or material or a factory building is undertaking such activity which is causing or which might cause environment pollution, then such premises or such factory building or such material process will be physically examined by the authorities appointed by the central government. Carrying out and sponsoring investigations and research relating to problems of environmental pollution. Now, the central government appointed authorities or officers undertake investigation of such premises, factory buildings, or the processes where the hazardous substances are handled or occupied, or they sponsor such investigations and research activities which are related to the problems of environment pollution. Now the next is inspection of any premises, plant, equipment, machinery, manufacturing or other processes, materials or substances, and giving by order of such directions to the authorities, officers or any persons appointed by the central government as it may consider necessary. The central government, if considers necessary, to take steps for the prevention, control of environmental pollution activities. So, if the central government feels that investigation or inspection of premises or plants or equipments, machinery or any other substance uh, required, then it will instruct its officers to have physical inspection of such things. And then establishment or recognition of environmental laboratories and institutes to carry out the functions which are instructed by the environmental law, or to such environmental laboratories and the institutes under the Act. Now, for undertaking tests or for checking the quality of the environment or for checking the severity of the pollutants, whether they are present in the environment, to what extent they are present in the environment, or how serious it is to be considered for the next decision or decided by the central government, and for which the environment laboratories are sometimes established by the central government, or sometimes the environment laboratories and the institutes which are already existing in the country will be recognized as the government laboratory through which testing and other required things are undertaken. Next one, preparation of manuals, codes or guides relating to the prevention, control and abatement of environmental pollution. Now, the central government is not only involved in giving instructions, guidelines, orders, or appointing authorities, or undertaking research, investigation, examination, or conducting different awareness programs, nationwide activities. Not only this, but whatever is done by different authorities, officials to create awareness among the general public to improve the quality of environment and also to reduce, minimize the environment pollution have to be communicated back to the general public. So, central government also takes up the responsibility of preparing manuals, codes or guides relating to the prevention, control of environment pollution. And then such other matters as the central government deems necessary or expedient for the purpose of securing effective implementation of the provisions of this Act. Now, the list of primary powers is not exclusive. If the central government finds any other act is necessary to follow the provisions or to be abide by the provisions of the Act, then the central government is free to make such decisions in the interest of the environment, in the interest of the country. The second main are written under other powers. On the slide you can see other powers include powers to appoint officers, power to give directions to officers and other authorities. Now, central government work through its officers and authorities. Appointment of officers and authorities along with other uh, matters related to appointment like tenure of office for the officers authorities, that is for how many years they occupy the office, what will be their positions in the office, hierarchy, that is who will be the senior to whom the subordinates have to report, their roles and functions, rules, regulations to be followed, discipline actions, the honorarium matters, all these will be decided by the central government along with the responsibility of appointing its officers and authorities. Now, the next one, power to give directions to the officers and authorities. Now, when these directions, guidelines are given to the officers or authorities by the central government, it shall be in writing. No oral contract or agreement will be valid as per the Protection Act or under any act for that matter. Any agreement, contract will be in writing. And the officers, authorities, if they agree to the uh, directions and guidelines given by the central government in writing, they shall be bound to comply with the direction. Under other powers, we have two more points. The central government may also decide to close down the industrial unit or prohibit the operations or process or regulate any industry, its operation or process if it finds the industrial unit involved in the activities which may cause damage to the environment. Now, along with that, the central government may also uh, order for stopping the supply of electricity or water or any other resources or any other services from the government side. Say it may cancel license, it may stop other services from the government if the government finds that the industrial unit or any of its operation or the process is involved in harming the natural resources. And the third one, power to make rules and regulations which uh, which are to minimize the environmental pollution and also to improve the quality of environment. Thank you. Thank you all for your patient listening. Now, under Bangalore University BCom syllabus for 6th semester BCom Business Regulations paper, the chapter Environment Protection Act 1986. These are the contents what you have to learn. Now, I want all my students to be thorough with the contents I discussed through PPT today. Answer the questions from past question papers and be prepared for the classes after college reopens. Thank you.